So obviously by the last video, we all know that I'm getting into the best shape of my life this year. But before we do that, let's talk about how I got myself into the position that I'm in right now, health-wise, that is requiring me to take all these crazy supplements and kind of do this crazy protocol. So let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, let's go ahead and make our morning smoothie. Which is something I actually really do enjoy, even though the protein powder that I'm using kind of puts me on my butt, this Metapure, because it's a detox powder, but I really do enjoy it. So let's go ahead and make this first. So first off, excuse my outfit, excuse my hair. I just got done doing some morning cardio, so obviously just a little sweaty. But here I am with my morning smoothie. It's the morning health concoction smoothie that my coach has me taking. And then a ton of different supplements. You really can't see them, hopefully you can. There's like 10 pills in my hand, maybe 12, taking all these, but that's besides the point. Let's jump into the 3 things that I personally did that really kind of hurt my health and put me into this position where now I'm needing to work with a coach, specifically a health coach, which is kind of helpful because I'm learning a lot from him as well to be able to help other people. But overall, working with him to get my health back in shape and just get my body moving again. So here are the 3 things that I did that you need to make sure that you don't do, so that way you don't have the same issues that I do. Number 1, I abused stimulants. Yep, 100% abused stimulants. Now, when I say stimulants though, I don't just mean caffeine, energy drinks, pre-workouts. I also mean nicotine pouches. For a long time, I was personally using nicotine pouches, and honestly, I really did enjoy them. Really didn't see much of an issue with them. I would personally use them as a tool first thing in the morning and then leaving work. I started using these whenever I was working a job that I had to go into, right? I had a physical building, a physical location, and I started using them just in the morning. Have one with a cup of coffee on my way to work. Felt really good, got me dialed in, a very nice nootropic effect. And then I would have one leaving work, felt really good, a nice nootropic effect. And was just kind of like my thing that I did to just, you know, decompress after our long days of work, even though they get you stimulated. But a few months after starting nicotine pouches, I eventually ended up leaving my job and working a remote job, which is what I do now. And because of that, I really didn't have a lot of structure. I was still doing all the things it is that I needed to do, but I had a lot of freedom, and I was trying to navigate this freedom for the first time in a very long time. So because I didn't have that structure that I normally did, I went to abusing nicotine pouches and energy drinks. The nicotine pouches just kind of slowly started to progress up, where it was like, hey, breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? Then it was breakfast, lunch, afternoon, dinner. Then it was like 5 times a day, 6 times a day. Then it was like, hey, you definitely are abusing these stimulants a little bit too much. You should ease off of them. The energy drinks, I wasn't too crazy oh, sorry, you can hear my dog. I wasn't too crazy about whenever I worked that location that I had to go to. But once I left, I started using energy drinks as an excuse to go out and talk to people, specifically at a retail store that we have in Oklahoma City. I would go there, chat it up, right? It's an account of ours, buy an energy drink. And because of that, I was just abusing too many stimulants. And also energy drinks aren't good on your gut. And because of that, I just kind of messed up my gut lining, caused potentially some leaky gut, more than likely did, some bad bacteria overgrowth too, which is gonna cause inflammation in the body, inflammation within your brain. Just overall, just is not a good thing at all. So that is how I got to this point in the sense of needing to fix my health. But let's jump into the 2 other things I did as well. And honestly, the last one really might surprise you. So before I start this clip, my cutting board broke in half. I don't know how. I was cutting something on it and it just broke in half. Here's the other part. Here's this part. Haven't bought a new one yet, so it is what it is. So let's dive into the second thing that I did to completely annihilate my health. Now, before we do that, I do got my lunch with me. Got some chicken, potatoes, also a rice cake and some almond butter. Got a little bit of salt and also some mustard on here as well. If you know me, you know that I personally am a huge fan of mustard. If you wanna know why, it's because I did a bodybuilding show in 2020 and it just became habitual for me to always eat mustard, because whenever you do a bodybuilding show, right, you don't got a whole lot to work with, so you work with what you can, and I just used and abused mustard, and now it has stuck with me pretty much forever. But to jump into the second thing that I did to just completely annihilate my health is binge eating. I've touched on based on this in a video in the past, actually I think a few weeks ago, or not that long ago at all. I'll actually put it right here so that way you guys can see it and then go watch it if you guys would like. But I personally struggle with binge eating. And obviously whenever you are binge eating, you're eating foods that you probably shouldn't be doing and that don't digest well in the body, it's going to cause a lot of issues within your gut, which is exactly what happened to me. Because personally, my binge eating was like pizza, donuts, high inflammatory foods, processed foods, just foods, man, that would really wreck your gut. And whenever you're having those in high amounts and high quantities, it's gonna do its damage. So essentially I ruined my gut, which then in return ruined my hormones, which in return got me to where it is that I was at, where my body just wasn't responding and I just wasn't operating the way that it is that I know I needed to. Now, I eventually ended up fixing that process through something called EMDR, or not that process. I eventually ended up fixing the binge eating through a process called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a pretty intensive therapy, very little bit of a different therapy compared to just talk therapy, but it truly was life-changing. I'll dive on that more into another video potentially, in the sense of like my true experience with EMDR. I touched base on it a little bit or somewhat in the binge eating video, but I'll give a real in-deep analysis of that process maybe in the future, right? 'Cause it's still kind of raw. But now let's jump into the third thing. Let's go ahead and wrap up this video and talk about the third thing that I did that got myself into this position whenever it comes to my own health and fitness. I will say I was about to show you guys my dinner, the supplements that I have each and every single night as well, but kind of ate it too fast, forgot to record. So make sure you tune into the next video where we're gonna be going over the supplements that I'm taking, the training, the nutrition, and everything that it is that I'm doing right now, which honestly might surprise you, in order for me to get myself back into the best shape possible. Now, what is the third thing that I did that got myself into this position? And it may not be what it is that you think. That third thing is being a people pleaser. Now, you may hear that and think to yourself, Alfonso, how does being a people pleaser impact your health? It impacted my health in very small things, but those small things eventually added up to be big things. Compromising on my nutrition, compromising on my training, compromising on my sleep, compromising on just having energy drinks or doing certain things that is that I knew I didn't need to be doing because they would impact my health, right? In the moment, hanging with friends, hanging with people, it's like, yeah, I'll have that. Even though it wasn't even that bad. Even after working through the binge eating, through EMDR, just making these small little compromises, these small little cracks eventually added up to big things. That is why I always say people that are people pleasers will always struggle to lose weight and to get into better shape, because they lack the inability to tell other people no, so they could tell themselves yes, which is 100% what I was doing. So now that I finally got myself moved away from all those three things, right? Being a people pleaser, the binge eating, the mindset that I had. Now that I'm finally moved past those things, I can finally move forward and get into the best shape of my life before I turn 29 on November 30th of 2026. I forget we're in 2026. So make sure you tune in, you like, you comment, subscribe. If you found value from this video, make sure you tell a friend about it. If you have a friend that is trying to get into better shape and they're like, man, what are the things that I'm doing wrong that I know if I stop doing would help me out drastically. Send them this video and hopefully it does help them. But like I said, we're getting to the best shape of my life before I turn 29 this year. Make sure you tune into this All In YouTube series where we're posting 2 times a week, documenting my process and also helping you guys along the way. See you guys in the next video.